What's up, everybody? You're back with the Chosen Khan, and I just came back from India about 2 days ago. It was an incredible trip. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about my roots, my family history, learned a lot about different religions. It was incredible. It was just incredible. And it just made me think a lot about, I guess, the future, what we're going to do going forward. And so we're now going to be dropping an interview once every 2 weeks. There's going to be some incredible people like as usual, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to be doing a lot of cool collaborative projects, so it's going to be crazy. But today, what I want to talk about, this is the first solo video we've done in a while, and I want to talk about something that really just that affected me big time while I was out in India. So when I was in India, I saw that Global News did a story on Punjabi music and how it affects teens and gang violence and all of this. And I was sitting there and I'm like, you know what? Like, okay, this is interesting. I was like, they just put this out there. Sidhu Moosewala, the artist, is coming in town, and they just put it out there attacking him. Things like that. I was like, is it interesting? And it made me think, because I'm from here, right? The gang violence has affected me personally. I had a cousin get shot in the arm while a friend of his got shot in the head. I had a cousin last year that I went to go visit him in jail. You know what I mean? Like watching him through I guess this electronic screen and talking to him. I had 3 people die that I know last year alone from the gang violence. So I know this, like I understand it very, very well. So I watched this video and it was like, you know what? This music is affecting these kids and things like that. And I was like, you know what? Okay, cool. There's some validity to this because it's true. Music does affect people. You know what I mean? You can't tell me that it doesn't. But what I wanted to talk about was, look, we have big problems out here in Surrey as an example. Hypermasculinity, you got kids that come from good families that are selling drugs and things like that. So I wanted to begin with this. Where's the substance? That's the biggest thing. As a content creator, where is the substance? You have all these kids that look up to us as role models or whatever it may be. Where's the substance? While I was in India, I met multiple people that had lost people due to what? Alcohol addiction. How many songs talk about alcohol addiction? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I understand creatives and everything like that. I get that, but we don't talk about it, man. Why don't we talk about alcohol addiction? I want to listen to a song where a guy's talking about, yeah, you know what? I watched my dad drink himself to death. Instead of someone saying, you know what? Tote guns and, you know, I love drinking alcohol. I get that, man. I get it. But I've been listening to a lot of the music. I have been. And I'm not here to blame music or just people that are artists. That's just one piece of the puzzle. We as a community got to realize, like, we got these big problems. Why doesn't anyone talk about alcohol addiction? We love talking about the gang violence, but it all starts somewhere. Let's just say, as a hypothetical, you're a kid who watched his dad just drink every day. And you're just like, what do I do with my life? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it all adds up. Now, another thing that I realized while I was out in India that really, I guess, relates to Surrey. It's like you look at all these music videos, you look at all this stuff, and it talks about throwing, I guess, lavish weddings or throwing an absurd amount of money at things and having flashy cars and things like that. But it's all a facade. I met people in India that were telling me about how these people, this is crazy. This is a true story. So in India, Modi, basically the leader of India, he did something where there was bills that you weren't allowed to use anymore. And so someone, I think it was actually Subhash, if you guys watched my story on Instagram, the incredible driver, he told me there was people that actually, they couldn't, like once those bills were deemed, I guess, they weren't deemed real, these people had weddings that they had set up and they couldn't pay for the weddings. So you had people killing themselves because it was all for show. It's all facade. It's like, I got through a wedding because it's for people. What are people going to say? And I think that's another thing. No one talks about this stuff. All these kids are getting used to, like, I got to sell drugs to make money, to have nice cars and nice things. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't, I see that. So the last thing I wanted to just talk about is you got guns everywhere you go. Every music video that I watch, it's just guns. You watch Biba Boys, that movie was all about gangsters and guns. Guns aren't cool, man. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not fun when you watch somebody that you know and you're at his funeral and the guy's got 3 shots to the back of his head. It ain't fun. It's really dope in a music video giving guns, but people say, you know what? Look at black people. Look at their music. Why? Well, we're just doing the same. We have not had the black experience. That's the honest truth. I'm sorry. You come from a good family. You got your mom and dad. That guy maybe doesn't have his dad. He's living in a really shitty area. We live in Surrey. It's not a bad place. We cannot compare and say, you know what? Our music's got to be like, no, we have to have substance. We're missing that substance. That's the key. You have all these kids that don't have a role model, that don't have someone that, you know what? Hey, that guy, J. Cole talks about real stuff. Who is the brown J. Cole? Tell me who the brown J. Cole is. Please tell me who that is. Or the brown Kendrick Lamar. So who's the artist that talks about, you know what? Kids that come from good families, but there's so much pressure. Who's the guy that talks about, again, this alcohol addiction? Who's the guy that talks about honor killings? Or who's the guy that talks about what it's like to be, you know, having a sister or a female in this community? Who's the one that talks about it? I haven't heard it yet. Please send it to me. Because that's the biggest thing. I get the global thing. The global thing just attacked musicians and all that. For you mean that they just, this is the problem, and there's more to the problem than that. But please tell me who it is, because I'd love to listen to that. Because music does play a big part. The arts play a big part. When I was in Malaga, Spain, Pablo Picasso, I went to his house. That's where he's from. And over there, it's like Pablo Picasso would paint to go against the system, to be talking about real things. What have we been doing as creatives to talk about the stuff that's happening in Surrey? I can't watch any more Surrey Jacks be like videos. I can't. I'm tired of him, man. I get it. Surrey Jack talks. He has horrible vocabulary. I get it, man. I understand. He's very hyper. I get it. But when are we going to talk about real stuff together? That's my biggest thing. We have to move forward together. And that's why that when I was in India, so what I saw in India, what was crazy was that people there, they actually live in unison. They live together. But in the media, you don't see that. It's like, no, Muslims and Sikhs can't get together. They were all hanging out there. Like a 2-minute walk from Amritsar is an incredible mosque and people are going to both. Do you get what I'm saying? Why can't we come and work together here? Because if we don't work together on these issues, we're going to be screwed. And you're going to be a laughing stock, or we're going to be laughing stock on global and all this stuff. It was crappy journalism. Do you mean it was a scapegoat that, you know what, it's this musician? Like, you can't blame no one musician. But I'm just saying that as people of this community, we have to start talking about real things. We can't be focused on the Bindi Johals and all these gangsters, because I'm over it, man. I get it. But there's a lot of kids that are just losing their lives for stupid things. You had a 23-year-old die on Granville Street. How many fights have you seen on Granville Street? For the people that don't know about Granville Street, you go there and it's just a bunch of people that spend thousands of dollars buying alcohol bottles. Dude, you're a genius. You spent thousands of dollars buying a bottle that's worth $100 so you can post it on Instagram and just flaunt and everything while your mom and dad are working really hard. Like, do you get what I'm saying? We have our priorities out of order. They're out of whack. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. It's like, you know what? These are issues that are really near and dear to my heart. And I know they're dear to a lot of people. We can't blame just artists, but we have to come together. It's got to be all of us realizing like, hey, where is the substance? And that's the question that I want to ask people where is our substance? Where is it at? So again, I love all y'all. You know what I mean? It's nice to be back and still alive. Thankfully, I don't have malaria, but we got work to do. Peace. Thank you for watching our videos. Your support really means a lot to us. Check out our podcast and honestly check out the other conversations we've been having as well.